Welcome back, and now we have another problem that we need to resolve using Excel. And the problem is quite a few columns data have been merged together into one, and we have to separate it to do our analysis and all different kind of tasks that we need to do. Now first of all, you must be thinking, why did it happen? Why we have data, different columns have been merged together into one? The problem is most of the data is downloaded from different software, and when we download the data, we get these kind of files and we have to deal with that. So let us start separating all the data here. So first of all, I will show you that my data has one column for product SKU that you can see here, another column for product retail price, that is basically something with 2 decimals, and then another with product cost, and you can see there is another value, and then there is a product weight, and then there is a check that if it is recyclable and if it is low fat. Now one thing you can notice is that all the columns have, all the different values from different columns have spaces in between, and that is something we need to find out. We need to find out that if there is anything in the data that we can use to separate that. Okay, so once you know that, you will go to this data tab here, and then you will click on text to column, and here you will have two options to resolve the same problem. The first option is delimited and the other one is fixed width. So first of all, I have to select all the column that I forgot. So I will select the column and I will go back to text to columns, and I will go with delimited first, and then after that I will show you the other option as well. So with the delimited, once you have selected it, click next, and then here you need to give a delimiter. So what is delimiter? Delimiter is something that can be used by Excel to distinguish between different cells. That can be semicolon or comma or a space or any other character as well. So if there is any other character, you will click here, and you will, for example, if it was an oblique, you will select oblique here, and Excel will use an oblique to distinguish between cells. But for now we have to use a space because our data has spaces. So as soon as you have clicked on a space, you will see that Excel has used the space in the data to separate the cells, separate the values in different columns. Right, so once you have done that, just click next and select the format here if you want any specific format. So for now I will go with general, and I will click on finish. So you can see that Excel has separated out all the values into different columns. Just click here, select here to select the entire sheet, and then double click here on the cell border, on the column border, and it will resize the data for you to bring it, in a beautiful format, in a good shape. And once you have done that, your data is ready. So we have separated our one column that was merged data of 6 different columns. We have separated that into 6 columns in just 5-6 seconds. Now there is another way of doing that as well, and I have to show you that as well because sometimes that is the only option to be used. Okay, so for that I will just undo the previous work that we have done. I will click here to undo, and again. So we are back to our original data. So let us select the complete column, and let's go to text to columns, and then let's select fixed width. So once you select fixed width and click next, Excel will use these lines to separate the data. So where Excel can find itself, Excel has already plotted 2 lines. If you want to delete any of them, just double click on the line. If you want to add any new line, just click here and Excel will add new line. If you want to drag any line, just select the line, just click on that, keep it clicked, and move on as you like, right? So this way you can add line, delete lines, and you can define the columns here. But now you can see the problem, and the problem that we can see here is that data from one column is going to another, and perhaps there is no way out that we can get rid of it, because here you can see that the values from the third column are going to the other one, that was 0.421, and it is going to the fourth column. And if I try to resolve that, you will see what will happen. If I try to resolve that, let me go up. Here it is all okay, but the problem has come here with 11.7, that is also broken down into the 2 columns. So if you can do it, if you can really identify it into separate column, that is something that can be done. So here you can see that the no has gone to fourth column. In fact, it should have been here. These two no's have been here and these no's have been here. So if we try to do it, Excel will, the whole other columns, other values will mix up. So this is one method that you can only use where the values in different cells are consistent, they are of the same length. Then this option can be used. Otherwise, this option cannot be used and we have to go with delimited. So if you select it, I will just show you how it will work. If you have done the lines and you are satisfied with the separation, you will just click on next and you will click on finish, and you can see that Excel has separated the data. But you can look at the headings have been broken down, and then you can look at the data here, the data have been mixed together. So this option can only be used where the data is of the consistent size in each column, otherwise it will just mess up the data. So these are the two options that you can use to convert your text from one column into columns in the separate columns area. So what you will do next, you will download the resource file given in this lecture and you will practice it yourself.